All right, so I mean, part of the genius that is Tyler to me is the way that elements within his tracks kind of creep up on you and slide in. You know, he might have these really quiet and beautiful parts of his track that are sparse and then feed in some really kind of blown out low end thing, or like that chorus of female vocal sounding in there, that percussive brightness that's happening. I think one of the terms Tyler used in describing how to master is like, I want this to be gross. And that's a really weird request when, for the most part, we try and make things as beautiful as we can and as clean as we can. And again, I think we achieved that in this track. We end up kind of going the direction Tyler wanted it to go and preserving all those elements. Part of my process, and I might have spoken about this in the earlier videos, is I tend to master for the peak of a song. So in Tyler's work, there's sections that are just really busy. There's, you know, a million things going on. So I try and find that part of the track with the most energy and use that kind of as my peak. So I'm mastering my levels to that peak. The EQs, like on this track, the first half of it, a lot of it is kind of thinned out, but then it gets heavier towards the end. Is that something that I want to, you know, leave the front sparse and then attack the back end and really blow it out, or vice versa? On this one, it was just one setting all the way through with his instruction to, like, there's a section in this song, and I'll point it out when we get there, where it's got a lot going on. And we went heavier on the bottom end. And to me, again, it's one of those more visceral things. Like, it's powerful and really aggressive, intentionally so. But then the track kind of, you know, the low end goes away and the track opens up again, and we've got that detail again. So I'll play this back again. The first thing, as always, I'm going to turn the level up and see where we are with that, and then try and fine tune those details. So first I'll play it back and introduce a little bit of level.
I saw a photo, you look joyous. My eyes are green, I eat my veggies. I need to get her out the picture. She's really fucking up my frame. She's not developed like we are.
Like magic, like magic, like magic. Whoa, magic, magic, magic. Whoa, like magic, like magic, like magic. Whoa, magic, magic.
My brother said I'm on the spectrum. Don't call me selfish, I hate sharing. This 60-40 isn't working. I want 100 of your time, your mind. Please don't leave me now. Please don't leave me now. Please don't leave me.
All right, so this is just with that level. So I'm using the soft saturation again, and I'm clipping it again, but I'm just getting that light to flicker, not be a constant solid red. So where we are right now, you know, I've got the volume to kind of where I think it should be. Now I'm going to check it against that section that I pointed out to Tyler was what I thought was beautiful, and it was actually his favorite section as well. But it's also where there's a lot happening. There's a lot of low-end information. There's a lot of vocal detail. There's a lot of that, you know, percussive upper mids happening. So that's where I'm going to double check my level, make sure that I'm, you know, not distorting there before I start adding EQ. Because adding EQ, I might actually have to back down my levels to compensate for that. But first, we're going to just play that section where it's really, really gets going.
She's gonna be dead. I just got a magic wand. We can finally be together. Roll the dice, hit a 7, show you right. Beginner's level.
If you heard in that section, as soon as those subs come in, that track gets really big, and then the beat switches and it's wide open again. I love that Tyler plays with those dynamics. So my thought is to accentuate those wherever I can.